What's up, Marvelous Talk Land? You are in tune to Marvelous Talk with your player partners. Big Dame, how you doing, man?
Hey
Long
man,
time no see.
I know, man. I'm ready to get it in, man. Season finale of What If? It's got me wondering if there's gonna be a crazy season two.
We know it's gonna be a season two already, and this one was crazy. So I'm pretty sure you're gonna get everything that you want on that one. Big G, what's popping, man? How you doing? Long time no see.
What's cracking lacking, man? But I gotta say it like my boy Tom Hardy, or whatever his name is, Eddie. I'm ready to eat them, Eddie.
Listen, man, I got to tell you, it's been a long time since I've been here with you guys on Marvelous Talk. But I think I'm thankful for Big G and for Dame holding it down, man. But right now, what we about to do is jump into this so we can get into some what if and into some Venom. Let there be carnage. Here we go. So what's up, you guys? Now we have been telling you for the longest time that you were going to on this what if you were going to see a team up, and you exactly got to see that, just that, in this last episode, which is the season finale of What If. Now, man, it was curious for a couple of different reasons. We knew Big G kind of said this in weeks prior. You saw the watcher getting closer and closer and closer, and then he couldn't keep his nose out of other folk business. And finally he just had to intervene, and it was because of Ultron. It shows you one how powerful Ultron could have been, and what a bullet we dodged by the Avengers going in and doing exactly what they did and what they were supposed to be, and they kept Ultron from literally taking over the freaking multiverse, not just our universe, the multiverse. The way he did away with Thanos in the previous episode was just, I mean, it was bad. I felt bad for Poe Thanos. He came in the room and what? And it was over. One word, and he was sliced in half like a sandwich. You
Yeah,
know, it was
yeah.
pretty bad. It was pretty bad. So what we see now is the team up. So every episode that you've been seeing up until this moment was to prepare you for the characters that you were about to be introduced to as the multiverse heroes. And their name was Dane.
You had T'Challa Star Lord, you had
Mhm.
Gamora, you had Party Thor, you had Captain Britain, and you had the Ultimate Doctor Strange.
Okay.
And
And
don't
Big
forget
G,
about
what
my
was
man.
their
Don't
what
forget
was their
about
formal
Killmonger,
name? Oh,
Killmonger too, absolutely.
Killmonger. And
Eric
what was their
Stevens.
formal name, Big G?
the Guardians of the Multiverse.
The Guardians of the Multiverse. And they had a couple of drinks that they were like celebrating with, which was just crazy and it was funny. But I think as he was coming around getting everybody, the only person that never noticed him was Party Thor. I mean, Party Thor is something else. Let me tell you something. Party Thor is this guy who is so self-absorbed. He is all
For
about
real.
him. I mean, he is not about anybody else other than him. He was fighting, and it was still about him, and he didn't even notice the big guy that was behind him. And definitely, he had to grab him. Like, come on, man. Finally, I got to get you up out of here.
Yeah,
So as the watcher collected everybody, right? There was one thing that you had to notice. Killmonger grabbed a helmet. He grabbed an Ultron helmet, one of Ultron soldier's helmets,
yeah.
and he took it with him. And you could when he had it with him, in the actual pub that they were gathered in, he started fooling with it.
Hmm.
So right away. you just knew you couldn't trust Killmonger. Dave, how did you feel about this, man, when you saw Killmonger playing with this Ultron head, man? What did this make you think?
I knew he was up to no good. I mean, we saw what he did in the episode with Tony Stark. This brother was plotting from the beginning of that episode. He had a plan. So, I mean, like I told Ahmad, man, I said, Angie earlier today, I said, man, hey, there, no matter what universe you put him in, you can't change Eric Stevens. Eric Stevens gonna be Eric Stevens. Period.
Yeah. He is definitely the thing about this guy, man, is he's a bad apple. He's a bad apple. It ain't that he even mean well. He's just a bad apple. And what'd you think about this scene, G? What'd you think?
Well, I mean, piggybacking off of what you guys said, it definitely was to reiterate something that they've already pushed through the What If series. And by saying that, ultimate points or ultimate points, regardless of what universe, what place, what time, what space, Killmonger is going to be an evil, dirty down dude. No matter what universe, what time, what place, what space, whoever gets the super soldier formula first is going to be that person. Mm-hmm. So it's just like there's ultimate points with people, and each one of those characters played a role,
right,
in the team up.
Absolutely.
Definitely. And so we're in this pub, and the Watcher, his name, I keep wanting to call him Watu. I knew it was something with a 2 in it. I didn't know, if it was 1, 2 or Watu or
Watu.
Yeah, I knew it was something too. That was it. Definitely, he had just got his butt whooped by Ultron last week. He got his hat handed to him, and he ended up with the Ultimate Doctor Strange in a
he's called a Supreme. He's called
Supreme Doctor Strange in a Void universe. So he's there with him in a Void universe that Doctor Strange had created. It was a little bubble that he created because his universe had been destroyed by, you guessed it, Ultron. So here we are, and they're in a pub, and he's telling them, hey man, I need your help. We need to not just defend your universe, but all universes. And, of course, here goes Party Thor. I got something to do. My girl waiting on me. I'm trying to go outside, and he opens the door, and, Nuatu is telling, hey, man, you probably don't want to do that. But he did it anyway, and he almost went down this big old long rabbit hole. So, definitely he comes back in. Captain Britain says, I'm in. I'm definitely in. Let's take it. Let's do it. And then they begin to work on a plan. And as they start working on this plan, that's when you see Eric doing some old Eric stuff. I'm just going to start calling it Eric stuff. It's just, what I'm saying? Just shady, just some Killmonger, shady stuff. You know what I'm saying? He just shade tree mechanic. And definitely everybody's working on this plan. And Thor's like, hey, I'm good. I'm good at being a distraction and causing a lot of noise and being seen. Yeah, you are, because you're childish, Thor. You don't get it. You just out here doing everything.
Yeah, he was not lying when he said that. He was definitely making a clear indication of this is who I am. I'm a noise maker and attract danger to myself.
Yeah,
that's what I like that, attract danger, because he really does. He really attracts danger to himself.
Yeah, but think about this. If Loki would have never showed up in Thor's life the way he showed up, this is the Thor that always would have been. Because if you go back to the first movie with Thor was arrogant and cocky. And I had an argument with a Marvel friend of mine that's a fan. He was like, well, what made him be able to have Mjolnir? I said, because he grew up. I said, you got to remember, before, when he first got it, it didn't have no enchantment on it. Odin put the enchantment on it to make him grow up, because he said, whoever be worthy now has the power of Thor.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So this is the guy that we would have got with no enchantment from Odin.
Mm-hmm.
And, be brief, you get some good stuff here on Marvelous Talk. I'm just fixing to tell you, sheesh, I'm sitting here, man, and I'm saying to myself, why is I've been looking at Chris Hemsworth, and Chris Hemsworth has gotten huge. I'm talking about he's gotten really huge. We're dealing with the multiverse, right? Party Thor wasn't like regular Thor size. Party Thor was huge, right? Could we be seeing him get big to play different Thors in Thor Love and Thunder? Because you're gonna get Jane as
Lady Thor.
Lady Thor. So could he be getting ready to play himself in different versions of himself, which is why he had to get so big?
Part of that too was because, and this is just the FYI, this ain't no Marvel, this is just a tidbit. He's playing Hulk Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to have the 36-inch pythons, for Hulk Hogan. But that's a great theory though too, that he had to swell up to be.
It's a thought. It's a thought. I mean, we're dealing with this multiverse thing, and this multiverse is out of whack, man. And there's so many different things that's going on. So the next thing we move on, he gets to a uninhabited planet, right? And in this uninhabited planet, they get there, and he's like, "Hey, planet got no life on it. We can hide here until we're ready to launch our plane." Right? So they get there, they get some drinks in them, liquored up, and sure enough, what happens? Party Thor shoots off his little lightning bolt from Mjolnir, and guess what?
Guardians of the Multiverse.
Guess who?
Apparently, he liked that name a lot because he was celebrating Guardians of the Multiverse.
I mean, he was celebrating. I mean, it didn't make any sense. You were just sitting there shaking your head like, wow, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. Now, let's go back. The recreations of the scenes in which you kind of got a chance to see how everything played out when he was picking up each of the Guardians of the Multiverse. It was interesting for me to see the recreation of the Civil War scene with Captain America and Captain Britain.
That's from
Winter Soldier scene with Captain Britain, right? Doing the same thing that Captain America had did.
Same ship.
Mm-hmm.
Same bad guy, Batroc the Leaper. She was going, and even had old boy Rumlow. He was up there, said the same exact line.
Mm-hmm. And then talking about having a date and everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was interesting. It was also interesting to see that Pepper Potts and Shuri had came to get Killmonger. They had teamed up to get Killmonger, and they were right there ready to handle that business. And then, definitely Party Thor was fighting Ultron's drones.
In Vegas.
Right, in Vegas. And he said, you can't have his Vegas. That's where Party Thor goes to have a good time. He gets it in. Party Thor gets it in.
T'Challa Star-Lord saved Peter Quill.
And he's fighting with Ego at that point. But it's important to mention that, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, even in the multiverse. I just, that's a multiverse law. It ain't.
I don't know. You talk to Party Thor long enough, he might tell you everything.
Yeah, he probably will. He probably will. So you got that, and then we got T'Challa, we got Star-Lord right there, and it's funny to recognize the fact that they both knew that they were cousins. That was another thing that I thought was interesting. That because T'Challa kind of, Killmonger kind of paused, like, man, does he know that I killed him on my universe? Does he know? He was kind of like, but he had no clue because from this universe, he didn't even grow up on Earth. He was somewhere else, right? Mm-hmm. So definitely we're back on the planet. Party Thor alerts Ultron that we're here, and here we go. The battle starts up. Now, it's amazing to see how Ultron is so responsive in this suit, right? He's Vision plus Ultron. So you got, Ultra Vision Ultron, whatever you want to call it.
With the stones.
Like, he's responsive. He knows how to use them beyond anybody else's capacity. Really super smart because of the computer. And he's whooping their butt. He whoops their butt so fast they gotta retreat, and they retreat to Black Widow world. And Black Widow, everybody in Black Widow's world was dead except her. Right? Because Clint had just died helping her to secure the Hydra computer. And of course, we know who was on the Hydra computer. Tell us who that was.
Zola.
Zola, yeah.
That was Zola on the Hydra computer. And definitely he had been uploaded to an arrow and a virus in the last episode. That's going to come into play here in just a minute. So they're fighting. They're in this new place. And here comes Ultron. He realizes that a stone has been swiped from because, T'Challa, Star-Lord, is a thief. And he knows how to, have these sticky fingers. He played the sticky fingers game on it. And definitely he was getting ready to put it in Gamora's cruncher. And he didn't get an opportunity to put it in the cruncher because, here comes Black Widow with the bike and knocks it out of her hand. And, Captain Carter had to kind of tell her, hey, look, we're on the same side. She convinced her. She let her know that, hey, we're friends, right? Which I thought was interesting as well because they're friends in a different universe, not this one, right? This dispensation. So there was a spell of enchantment that had been put on them by Doctor Strange, which is another interesting thing. G, tell me what you thought about this spell of enchantment. I've been waiting to hear your opinion on this.
Well, it's not really Doctor Strange. It's Supreme Strange. And Supreme Strange universe, he engulfed or ate or sucked in every mystical being that was part of that universe. He defeated them all because he was trying to create or have the ability to bring life out of death. So he has Doctor Strange's powers, but every other mystical being that existed within that universe, he had their power as well. So him putting an enchantment on them, like is basically a shield on them and saying, look, no matter what, you're not gonna get hauled out. Well, it's just like him just being what it is. And I got a prediction, man. You're gonna see that guy in Spider-Man. I think you're gonna see the Supreme Strange in Spider-Man.
Oh, so you said that's who we've been seeing in the trailer?
Yeah, I think that's Supreme Strange.
Interesting.
I think it might not be the fully developed Supreme Strange that like closes in a universe, but I think it is Stephen Strange on this pathway to rewrite or rechange history. And in order for him to do that, he's got to get every mystical power that's out there and suck it in.
That's a good theory, G, because everybody's been talking about how weird the Doctor Strange in the trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home is like. It's just not consistent with what we've known Doctor Strange to be. So that's a very good theory, man, to me.
Yeah.
I think I can concur with something's going on with Doctor Strange in No Way Home. It's just not the same guy that was getting ready to leave Iron Man and Peter in space saying, look, man, I gotta defend the stone at all costs. It's just something that's really different, right? So he put this spell on him, right? And as he put this protection spell on him, they're fighting. And now here you see Ultron is overwhelming them. But, they put the plan together to shoot the arrow into Ultron's eye. And once they did that, they were going to get the stones up off of him, right? But because they had already tried to grind them, once they ground the first set of stones, he came back because, of course, that's just one universe, right?
Yeah, we found that out in Loki.
Right. He exists in multiple universes with multiple stones, right? So it's just not one of him, right? So once we get this whole plan, we're kind of skipping through this because, there's some things, plots and theories we got to get to. Once we get Zola inside of Ultron, at this point, you see Ultron and Zola going at it. inside of Ultron. And, Ultron in his classic Ultron voice is kind of confused, like, hey, man, what you doing here?
Yeah.
This body's already occupied.
I love that line.
The roles was reversed from Age of Ultron. Remember, Jarvis was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You're conscious, you're alive.
That's
wait a minute.
good.
What? And now Zola was like, I'm about to haul you out. I'm taking over. There's only one way. And Ultron's like, really? This thing? And got twisted quick.
Got hauled out. Zola just, did what Zola do. You just destroy it. And he was like, well, I was really out here to take over for Hydra, but since there ain't no Hydra, you kind of took my dream away. Let me take yours away. I'm a dream crusher. You know what I'm saying? And he crushed his dreams. And of course, Killmonger, Eric, in classic Eric fashion, went over. We finally see what he was doing with the helmet. He was making it so that the helmet would absorb the armor of Ultron and place that armor on side of him, right? Mm-hmm. So now he has the stones, and he's like, hey, look, we can use these to make all of our universes back the way that they were supposed to. Because remember, at this point, Killmonger is heck bent on, being ruling so that he could, exact vengeance on a nation that didn't care about it.
Hey, man, you know what I was thinking when you were saying that, man? It made me think. It would be jacked up if you put Anakin Skywalker and Killmonger together.
Yeah.
Them brothers
Same character.
Yeah.
Same character.
Yeah, man. I want to rule.
Rule
the galaxy, bring peace.
Yeah. Same character.
And they're both whiners. They're both whiners. Yeah. So that's what's funny about it, Dame. Good comparison. Good comparison. So everybody thinks about it for a minute. Everybody does. But then everybody there whose heart is right, it's like, nah, we were sent here. Even the ultimate Doctor Strange. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He was like, no, we were sent here to separate the stones from the body. And at that point, what he did was the same spell that he did on himself to save himself from while the universe had imploded around him. He did that same spell around them, right? He first did it in the small thing around the stones and then did it around them to keep them encased in the bubble. And because he realizes at this point he can't bring his love back, there's nothing else for him to do. So sitting in time and watching them guys, hey, might as well, right?
Yeah. Pocket universe, a pocket universe inside a pocket universe.
A pocket inside of a pocket. Now, Dame, how did you feel about that, bro? Like, what about that end? How did you feel about that end?
It's almost like when we were watching it, my wife and my daughters, we were watching it, and I said, man, it kind of reminded me that he became a watcher. He became the watcher was watching him. Now he's a watcher watching somebody else. Yeah. It's almost like he's paying penance for all the stuff that he knew he shouldn't have done, but he did it anyway.
Yeah.
And so now it's like he's paying penance, but he gets it. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's bitter about it. It's like, this is the ball that's been rolled, and I gotta play the game. So
I gotta play my part. And what'd you think about that ending, Big G?
It wasn't the cliffhanger that I was expecting, but I did like it because it did give closure to a couple of characters that if either one of them would have got loose, it'd have got ugly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Killmonger with them stones. Whoo. Zola with Vision's body and them stones.
It gets ugly. Yeah. It gets really ugly. I mean, definitely. And also, I think that kind of set it up for what's to come in the future, right? Because you always have this looming threat out there, so I think that's a good way to kind of leave it. Now, what you didn't pay attention to and what they were hoping that you kind of glossed by was everybody returning to their places, right? Star-Lord returned back to where he was fighting Ego, which was natural. That's where he came back.
And training Peter Quill.
Right.
Now training Quill which means Quill eventually does become a Guardian.
He does become a Guardian, right? So you had him go back, and then Strange is already out of here. You know, he's already doing his part.
Yeah.
So now you have Captain Britain and you have Black Widow, who's still here, right? So Captain Britain looks at the picture of Steve Rogers, and she's like, man, you know, I kind of want to go somewhere else, you know. And when he sent her back, she didn't quite go back to just what she went back to, right? She went back and found on the ship Steve Rogers.
Well, no.
In the Iron Man.
We don't know. We don't know. We don't know.
So,
We just know that was the Iron Man.
there's
suit.
somebody inside of it.
Right, but we don't know. We don't know.
Where did we leave him at? When we left him in the What If episode,
he felt like Bucky. He felt like Bucky did off that train, and
Right, yes, sir.
so in essence he became what the Winter Soldier.
what the Winter Soldier was.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
We don't know if this is Steve Rogers or is this a twisted Winter Soldier Steve Rogers. We don't know what this is.
We don't know what it is. I'm assuming, and I am drawing a conclusion, but if there's somebody inside of that suit, and the last time we seen that suit, he was in it, I'm assuming that he's still in it, which is safe bet.
I believe that too, and I believe that they twisted that suit to meet their. Like I said, it's just like Bucky's arc, but now is the what they call it, the Hydra Stomper. So it's now the Hydra Stomper has been used
as the soldier.
That's what I was thinking.
Right. I totally 100% wholeheartedly agree to that. Right. And then the second piece of this whole thing is Black Widow's like, man, you're not sending me back to this place because I'm the only one there. Right. And he's like, man, I can't interfere. I got no choice. He was just hyping it up. He sent her back to a different universe where she had been killed.
Yeah.
What does that sound like, you guys? Here's the first thing you heard it on Marvelous Talk. You heard it on Marvelous Talk.
Cause I got my money.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna tell you something. We will have Scarlett Johansson back as Black Widow. You're gonna see her back as Black Widow. Some type of way they've left the door open to rewrite her in and write her in coming from a different universe, because we are now dealing with multiple universes at the same time, right?
Hey, you know they settled, right? You know, y'all
right. And I was going to say that. So
settled.
All of a sudden she's whining and crying and screaming all across the internet. Anybody will listen. They messed me out of my money. They took my money. And now all of a sudden she's settled. Oh, she's settled because she's coming back.
Yeah, she's settled because she's coming back. And that's one of the things that they probably had to tell her. Look here, girl. We had already wrote you back in. Calm down. You know, calm down. You may not have got all the money from that one, but you're gonna make a whole ton of money again over here. So just calm yourself down. You know, definitely. Dane, how did you feel about these two endings? You seeing the Hydra Stomper over here and Black Widow saying that there's somebody in it, and then seeing Black Widow come in, and we have Samuel Jackson's character saying that I know you're not mine, but you've got a lot of her characteristics. How did you feel about that whole thing, Dane?
So the endings for me were those two things to me were, I hate to be a party pooper, but they were kind of anemic to me. I'm like Big G. I was expecting some really. Here's what I was thinking. Okay, I was expecting somewhere along the way that they were going to tie all of this to what we saw happen with Loki, because I mean you can't end the way Loki ended, knowing that he who I forget his name, he who reigns or whatever.
He who remains.
Yeah, he who remains. All the power that he had, and you don't reference that. They didn't reference that anywhere in What If. You know what I'm saying? So that was to me kind of a drop ball that they kind of left, because we know that that's coming, but they didn't really didn't really go there with it. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you, Dane. I hear you, but it wasn't. The bell has been rang. The bell has been rang in a whole bunch of different places, right? And it's been implied we're dealing with multiverses, right? We sent
True.
Scarlett Johansson. We sent Black Widow to a different universe, which speaks of Loki. You know what I mean? We didn't have people sliding universes before Loki, right? So that's a slide in the universe. And then having you guys said it so eloquently, I love it, that, you know, now we have the Hydra Stomper living out the Winter Soldier's arc, right? So now you have this whole thing coming to play, which is another universe, and we have them existing at the same time. Now that we know about them, there's going to be references to these in movies. Big G, I know. How did you feel about this whole thing?
Well, it opened up Pandora's box. They have the ability to pull any character from any place at any time.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives a reference point for any character, any place at any time. The issue is going to be, how do they now, since they opened up Pandora's box, tie them all in together in a way that just doesn't get the average fan confused?
Right.
Because the average movie watcher is going to be like, wait a minute, Scarlett Johansson is dead. Wait a minute, Steve Rogers is old. Wait a minute, Peggy Carter died. You know, they're going to be like, what's the reference point? So they have to do it in a way, which I'm just going to be honest. I think that the multiverse idea will die in phase 4. I think the whole premise and the whole setup for the multiverse idea is Scarlet Witch. And that is to bring those boys and characters that they want to make canon into our MCU. Right?
Absolutely agreed. Absolutely agreed.
Yeah.
I totally wholeheartedly agree with you. I think, you know, it's about the anti-hero. We've said that. And I think the reason why we had to bring in the multiverse is in order to bring in mutants into this universe. That's one thing. And then 2, to reboot the characters that we lost from the last one, right?
Well, I don't know if it's going to bring in the mutants, but what it did is it opened up the box for you to be able to rewrite characters. I think mutants is going to show up with Eternals, but you know, that's a whole nother conversation. I think we're going to get the whole story, the whole everything. And I think it had a lot to do with all them snaps. Them snaps opened up a lot of stuff. But
absolutely.
I think that mutants,
I think also, Big G, if you didn't have the multiverse slides, a lot of the mutants would not connect with one another.
True.
Right? Which leads me to my theory. Now we're at the end of What If, and my theory now kind of goes, and I have to get to Venom. We want to talk about Venom so that we can kind of complete this whole theory, right? If you haven't seen Venom, please make sure that you stop right here. Stop right here.
Dang.
Right here.
He's a hater.
And no, I'm just saying, stop right here, because I'm about to spoil the whole movie for you.
Oh, okay.
Just don't listen to just pause it, watch Venom, and then it's at 33:54 in this video. Pause it and then come back. Okay. Now, if you have not seen Venom, if you have seen Venom, we're going to talk about it. The movie itself, I don't need to even talk about the guts of the movie. It's an hour and 20 minutes worth of time wasting. The last
oh wow, they both haters. They both are haters.
The last end scene of Venom had Tom Hardy. It's Tom Hardy, right?
Yeah.
We had Tom Hardy coming back. Him and Venom had left, and he was on the beach. This is the end credit scene. He was on the beach, and they had hid, and they were running from the police and running. You know, kind of. He was keeping Venom safe. They were in a bed in, you know, I would say Mexico, because it was in a Latin country, whichever it was, but because they were watching a telenovela.
Yeah.
Right. And so they're in this bed and they're watching a telenovela. And as they're watching it, he's telling him, hey, you know, everybody got secrets. Because he's like, you know, it's his fault. He shouldn't have kept secrets from his girl. And he was like, well, you know, Venom said, well, everybody got secrets. He was like, oh, you got secrets from me, Venom? He was like, man, look, a symbiote has seen every piece of this universe and your puny mind can't handle it. You know, I'm going to show you a little piece of it and you're going to see. Right then, something happened. A light hit the window. And when the light hit the window, he came back. He's sitting in a 5-star hotel in this same Latin country. And he's now got a flat screen on the wall. And we are watching J. Jonah Jameson talk about Peter Parker is Spider-Man, right? So what just happened? We saw the light hit the window, saw the light pass the window, and the light we saw wasn't the, you know, because when we saw the blip happen, everybody faded away like salt caplets.
Right.
Right. So it wasn't a blip. Wasn't the blip.
True.
And the time continuity would mess that up because Spider-Man Far From Home happened 8 months after the blip.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So if Venom came back 8 months after the blip, that was the first time he came back, that's a problem. Because when he snapped, everybody came back.
Correct.
At the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But that light that you saw looked familiar. It looked like the Bifrost. That's what it looked like to me, right? Where would we see, who would have control of that? And where would we see that other than Loki himself?
You think
Right?
it was the Bifrost?
The light looked just like the Bifrost.
Okay.
It looked just like
I
the
think it was
Bifrost.
something else. I think it was something else, but
Okay. So in my mind, here's where I feel like Loki comes into play, right? Loki sliding universes had Venom slide universes. And now Venom is licking the TV talking about Peter Parker look good. I don't know what he licking the TV, like he was a snack or something. I'm like, wait a minute, what is going on with Venom? Like,
It's a
classic comic book. Classic comic book.
yeah.
But
So-
so Dame.
Go ahead, G.
No, I'm gonna let Dame say. Dame, what you think the light was?
Man, I don't know. When he mentioned the thing about the Bifrost, that got me thinking. But I just thought it had to do with the blip, personally.
All right, so it was. And what I'm gonna tell you, I went back and I slowed it up and I watched it. It was the spell that Stephen Strange cast in Spider-Man: No Way Home. Stephen's Ultimate Strange or Superior Strange merged all the universes together because he wanted to be able to devour and capture powerful people and Nexus beings. So he opened it up, and that's how you're going to see Venom show up. Because remember, we've counted 5 of the 6 members of the Sinister Six in the dang on trailer. Who's number 6? Venom. Venom's number 6. You got to have 6 of the Sinister Six show up to battle Spider-Man.
If he did do that, that would add to your theory about the Ultimate Strange already on that path, because he would have been on that path while this was happening to Peter.
Yes.
Right?
That's crazy.
So I could buy that for $1. I could buy that for $1. But it looked like the Bifrost to me. I mean, if we're just going off looks, the colors and everything and how it passed.
I'm about to slow it up and watch it. I'm about to slow it up and watch
It's
it.
like
again.
it's like the Bifrost and him going right there. Needless to say, we're gonna have a Venom spotting in Spider-Man: No Way Home. We're already there. Now, for those who don't know comic books, Dave, Venom and Spider-Man are enemies. But
they
have
cross
been
that
known to
line.
work together.
They cross that line when it's mutually beneficial. They work together.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you think? How do you think that they would kind of resolve the two together? I'm gonna ask you first, Dave. How would you think they'd put the two together?
Something's gonna cause Venom to the point where he's going to have to work with him, and it's going to be because of what the other members of the Sinister Six are doing. So, but it's going to be something that affects Venom's existence or him, being on Earth or whatever. But yeah, that's my take. That's what I think might happen. That will cause them to need each other.
So, G, that plays into your theory. So, what do you think about this?
I think Venom is what I've been saying all along. He's an anti-hero.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they're going to tie into the cartoon and move Venom more towards Agent Venom. And Hardy is going to learn, or Eddie Brock is going to learn how to control him more than he can control him. And learn how to manipulate that suit. He's going to give him the Spider-Man emblem on his chest, all the stuff that you can think of. And then he's going to fight the good fight as an anti-hero, but be on the side of Spider-Man. I'm really feeling that as far as Venom. Because remember, Kevin Feige is going to pick and choose who he wants.
Yeah.
To join the MCU. Venom is too big of a character to let go.
Absolutely. They wouldn't have put that post-credit scene in there, man, if there was no intention of having him in there. I just can't see it. I can't see that. Oh, it's just coincidental. No. Y'all wouldn't have put that in there if it wasn't meant to mean something down the road.
Yeah. And Strange is going to tie it together like the shoelace. Wanda's going to unravel it. Right? I think Strange finalizes some of the stuff of Kang and all whatever else.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we get to Wanda, when the part with Wanda unravels it.
Yep.
Okay.
Wanda unravels it.
So I concur. Now, the other part of this whole thing, to where we get to the what if, while we're tying this whole thing up in a bow, so you get Black Widow back, right? You get Captain Carter, right?
Yeah.
So Dame, look at this. There is a comic book and a group of heroes that have not been mentioned in any of the Marvel lore coming to this point, in any of the Marvel reports coming to this point. But we do have a sighting of Professor X in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. We also know that Namor will be in Black Panther, right? Okay, so that's 2 members. We've already had Iron Man, so that's the 3rd member, right? Of what we call the Illuminati, right? And the most famous comic book of the Illuminati deals with the multiverse.
Right.
So if we got a group of writers out here at Marvel who don't waste anything, you guys, I really believe that we are going to see the Illuminati, and we're going to see a Iron Man slide from one universe to the other, because the Illuminati exists in one of these universes already.
Correct.
Right?
Or several.
Right.
Correct.
So you're going to see that slide together, and you're going to see the Illuminati before it's all over with. Right.
Right.
So
the Illuminati had 3 problems. Their 3 biggest problems. Problem number 1 was the clashing of the multiverses. Right. And people being able to come to and from. Problem number 2 was Kang the Conqueror, because of how many Kangs existed. Problem number 3 is Bruce Banner.
Oh, he's a big one.
Hulk.
He's a big one.
That's the problem number. And that's where we get World War Hulk, World Breaker Hulk, all the other stuff from the Hulk. Mm-hmm. Those were the 3 biggest things that the Illuminati, and then stuff trickled down off of it. They replaced members died, members joined, but those 3 problems were huge.
I agree, man. I agree. It's going to be crazy.
Dane, looks like we're gonna we're not only just gonna gain multiversal characters, we're gonna gain and like you're gonna get team ups, but I think we're gonna get the ultimate team up in the Illuminati. And that's an easy way to bring our Tony Stark back. Right?
Agreed.
And Reed Richards.
And Reed Richards. Right. Yeah. So if we know we're going to get 2 of these guys in upcoming movies, and just like you said, Kang the Conqueror, we got Kang already. We already have Kang.
Yeah.
We have one of their enemies. So it's just like with all of Morbius and Venom, you got all of these Spider-Man enemies, but you got no Spider-Man.
Right? It's kind of pointless.
Right. So we're not going to do that. Marvel will not waste anything inside of our universe. Well, what do you think about this theory, Dame? Am I on to something?
I think it's worth investigating and looking into more and more, because like you said, I mean, you just said the last statement you made. It's like, and I've been saying that too. I think we all have. People don't just want these one-off villain movies. We want to see them interacting with the person that's the antagonist, and that's Peter Parker, Spider-Man. Hopefully down the road, Miles Monroe too. Miles Monroe. Hey, Miles Morales. Y'all that's believers. Y'all know who Miles Monroe is. That was
Miles Monroe gonna super preach to him. Everybody getting saved in the Marvel universe. Everybody. You know
right? If Miles is preaching, that's a show is.
Yeah, everybody getting saved. Everybody getting saved. But yeah, so go ahead, Miles Morales. Go ahead.
So that's what I'm saying is you can't have one without the other. You can't just make. People are gonna get bored, and I mean, G said we throwing hate, man. That Venom movie, man, dude. I'm telling you, all I wanted to see was that post-credit scene. That's all I cared about, because the movie itself, it was all right, but it's like y'all wasting so much material by incorporating Peter and Spider-Man into this movie. That's what the fans want to see, man.
Yeah.
So that's just my
take. It's because it's greed, man.
Yeah.
The issue is, the bottom line is that Sony could have figured out a way to work this thing out. Fox, Sony, they could have figured it out, man.
Yeah.
But the issue is they want their bread too. So Kevin Feige's giving them, because remember, he had the big meeting and he told them, okay, this is where you can play. This is how you can do, but at the end game is that Spider-Man is going to get away home. Spider-Man and all of his characters is coming to the MCU, and Feige's going to have complete control.
And plus, you got these new lawsuits. I don't know if y'all heard about these new lawsuits with some of the heirs.
Craziness.
So people just, like you said, G, it comes down to it. People just want money, man. They just want to get paid.
It's sad that Marvel had to sell off a lot of, in the earlier going to stay afloat, it had to sell off its characters. That's what was sad. If we would have been able, if the MCU would have been able to control everything, we'd have been so far ahead in the game right now. But I think it's good because we're able to kind of refresh and restart and reboot a lot of the characters. And we're going to get a fresh look at them. I think we're going to get a fresh spin on Iron Man. We may get Iron Man the alcoholic. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We may get that Tony Stark in this universe, right?
Well, we're definitely gonna get Iron Lad. We're definitely gonna get Iron Lad, and I'm willing to bet the farm that we're gonna get Nathan Richards. So Nathan Richards,
getting the Young Avengers. We got so many of the Young Avengers right now. Yeah. So definitely, here it is. So to wrap everything up in a nice little bow, you guys. The end of this year is going to be so pivotal to the MCU. And I'm going to tell you, Marvelous Talk land, Marvelous Talk people, if you pay attention to Marvel at all, this is going to be so exciting. You need to make sure you tune in. Now, I ain't telling you to go to the theater because I've been off and I was out because I had COVID. And I don't want anybody to get COVID because, COVID is Jumanji. You never know what you're going to get from day to next day. You know what I mean? And I was blessed to make it and survive through it. Ooh, it is what it is. But I'm going to tell you, you got to find a way to see these movies because they're tying them together like shoestrings. and it is beautiful to behold.
Yep.
I'm loving it.
You got Eternals. So just to let people know what's coming. You got Eternals coming next month, November, the early part of November. In the meantime, in the next few weeks, they haven't said the exact date yet, I don't think. But just in the next few weeks, you got the Hawkeye series that's going to be on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Then going in December, you got Spider-Man Far No Way Home. And then there's another series that's getting ready to come out right after the Hawkeye.
Miss Marvel,
and the Hulk, the She-Hulk.
She-Hulk will be next year.
Yeah. So
but Miss Marvel and Hawkeye drop as Disney Plus series before the end of the year.
Yeah, this year.
Yeah.
They dropped this year. And it's easier for the thing about this is the continuity on certain things were off only because of the simple fact that COVID and how they were filming, they weren't able to kind of put things in the way that it was supposed to be, like i.e. the Loki pun about the Infinity Stones. They weren't able to kind of keep the consistency there with Ultron using the Infinity Stones throughout all of the different universes and in the void, right? But that's okay. We get it. And they're going to explain that. But now you're going to get everything stacking on top of everything. And it's just to make it all come together. And I think it's going to be tied together. And I'm so excited. But look, you have got another episode of Marvelous Talk TV with your boys. If you like what you're seeing, make sure that you like and you subscribe, because definitely we're giving this content for you and yours. Man, look, I'm just excited. I have nothing else to say. Dame, you got anything you want to lead the people with?
See what I'm doing? Buckle up.
Buckle up. That's what we need to do. Buckle up. You got something else you want to share, Big G?
Nah, I'm good. I'm ready. I'm ready for it to happen. Be safe and be careful if you venture out to the theaters.
Yeah,
I ain't saying it's going to be worth it or not, but be safe and be careful.
Yeah, just don't go see
Venom.
Don't waste your money, because I wanted to go back and get my little $10 that I spent to go see Venom.
Oh, man.
It was bad. I almost asked the man on the way out, hey, look, can I get my money back? I can wait. It don't matter if you send it to me next year. I just want it back.
A penny a day.
It was that bad. It was that bad. Don't go. It was a 6, and you can trust me. Can't too much trust G, but you can trust me. It was a 6.5 the most. Don't waste your money and don't waste your time. You'd be wasting at least an hour and 30 minutes just for 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying? If you want to buy a ticket to go in on the last 2 minutes of the movie, that's fine. I wouldn't even be mad at you. You don't need to see the rest. It's forgettable. I'll probably never watch it again. Just like
notice G's not arguing with you. So
no, because we wrapping it up. I'm leaving it alone. Mod is a hater. But I understand. I understand, because certain MCU stuff, if it's not MCU, I got issues with it too. We talked about that off air. There's only 2 non-MCU movies that's perfect.
Listen, it was almost as bad as Captain Marvel, and it may have been. I think it was probably worse than
Captain Marvel was way better. It was on the lines of X-Men, Dark Phoenix, and the Fantastic Four.
Now I can accept that. Don't put that, man. Captain Marvel made $1 billion, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, look. Let me tell you something. It was worse than Captain Marvel. Right? Let me go ahead and just go. It was worse than that. Marvelous Talk Land, I'm for real. If you want to know how bad it was, go outside, open your front door, and take a rag and then clean the little step that you go across when you walk in on your doorstep. Look at that. That's how bad and nasty that movie was. Just horrible. It was horrible. Nobody want to see it. It's garbage. It's that much garbage.
Oh,
but look, man, I love you guys. I will see you next week. Thank y'all for hanging out with us.
Peace, y'all. Peace.